All right, I'm out with the Maxx again. Just finished running the Outcast. I was going to run the Outcast and the Maxx together, and maybe I should have. I was talking about running the E-Revo against the Outcast, but the E-Revo would just, outpower it in a straight line at this park. As far as backflips, I think the Outcast is the wheelie and backflip king when it comes off jumps. I think the E-Revo would be fun to bash with that one, but I'm gonna give this a rip. And this thing's a wheelie king too, just not as much. Uh, Maybe I should have run the Outcast and the Maxx together, but I'm gonna give this a little quick bash out here, have some fun down here at this park, and see how this thing does. I got a fully charged battery on 4S, so we'll see how it does. I don't want to destroy the body on concrete anyway. Though. I don't like how it gets up on one wheel in the wheelies, because then it goes for that tumble. It's probably that, you know what, it's probably that gyro in it, up in the air, trying to keep it going straight. I'm going to turn that down. High up. So it's trying to correct when it's doing a wheelie and start getting up on one wheel. Two wheels, you see that? Trying to flip over. Head back towards those cars. Got them all running out of the car. All right, I'm back at the Maxx. I've had to let it sit all week, and as you see, I've had this thing draining all week, and not much came out of it, I'll tell you that. But it seems to be pretty dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the 500K in it. I'm gonna get this stuff heated up and get it in there, and get the differential put back together, and get this sand cleaned out of here. It's been a busy week. Haven't had time to really work on this. So I pretty much took it apart, left it, and been busy all week. So I'm gonna get this thing put back together because I really wanna run it this weekend. All right, I'll be right back. Let me get this thing filled with fluid and I'll show you how it looks filled with this 500K. Be right back. All right, the Maxx went ahead and got the 500K diff fluid put into the rear of the Maxx. Got all the sand out. Went ahead and greased up the gears. I just use regular old synthetic bearing grease. I do get the European one because it seems to last longer. A little bit more sticky, but it's all preference. So I'm going to go ahead and now get this case cleaned up so I can get this rear diff sealed up, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the sand out of here. But this is all back together, so I'm going to go ahead, get this thing washed out, and then I'm going to pack a little grease in there and get this thing sealed up. You don't want a lot of grease. You just basically want to keep grease near the gears. So I go a little heavy with it, but you don't want to go too heavy to where it's going to start squirting out everywhere. I will put a thin layer all the way around this. That helps with waterproofing. I'll actually use some of this diff fluid instead of grease because this stuff is real sticky. So it acts like a barrier. So I'll put that around there once I get this thing cleaned up. So I'll be back shortly and want to get this Maxx back on the road. Be right back. All right, the rear diff is locked up on my Maxx. Check this out. When I turn this, pretty much turns all four. Same thing with this. Turn this wheel, turns all four. Turn this, just turns the front because that diff isn't strong enough unless I lock up these two, you see? Then it turns all four. But this diff fluid is so thin that it won't turn the rear now. Tries to. If I hit it fast, see? It'll do it. But really thin diff fluid. Really thick diff fluid gets all of them. So it's working good. Seems to be good. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing buttoned up now, and I'm gonna go run it and see how it does with the rear all locked up. Point out, see that? That's all the sand I took out of this RC. I keep my floor pretty clean, and so I've been pretty much cleaning it in this corner. And after me blowing it out and hosing it off before I put them on the shelf, that's all the sand I got out of this little RC. Out of every nook and cranny. So there definitely was a ton of sand still left in it. As you can see over there in that corner, it's pretty ridiculous. So, lesson learned. If I'm gonna bash in the sand, make sure you seal up your RC before you get them in the sand. All right, I'm gonna get this body on. Can't wait to get this thing out. God, there's still sand. Look at, there's still sand up in that box over there. Receiver box. I think I'll be knocking out sand from this thing for a long time. But all ready to go. Got the bumpers back on. Got everything back together. So there There she is, boys. Max is ready to go out. I am going to change out the ESC before I go out one more time. I want to run this thing on 6S. But love this RC. Very, very happy with this RC. So I'm going to take good care of it and get out there and bash it. And just so you know, I have 2 more of these on order. So I'll have all 3 colors of this thing. I'll unbox them as soon as they get in. They're still back ordered. I was supposed to have it last week, one of them, but still hasn't come. But we got this one to play with, and yeah. I'll see you on the next running video. Thanks for watching me take out all the sand, and appreciate you watching. Thanks. Alright, back with the Maxx. I want to see if this rear differential actually helps, and it stops diffing out, and the rear end will start sliding. So let's give it a shot. I'm going to just do a quick bash right here. Let's see if this thing will dip out. As you see, yep, just like I told you guys, stop it from flipping over, especially on asphalt, is you gotta get it to stop diffing out. Now that it's not diffing out, I can actually slide this thing, which is what I was trying to do. Instead of rolling over, I can now slide it. That was my plan the whole time. Now instead of rolling over, I can actually have fun with it. Lot better. 500 weight, 500 weight, 500 weight. Since it's got such sharp steering, I can now use it to my benefit. Instead of it flipping over, I can keep the truck going straight, and I can slide it. And in dirt, it's going to be a lot more fun. So just a little quick update. Putting the thick diff fluid in it definitely makes it a lot better. So I suggest that you guys go ahead and do what I did. Pull that rear apart and go ahead and throw in the 500K. You can put the million, it's just not needed. 500K is plenty. I don't know if I'm going to do the front. I'm going to drive the truck this way. It seems to be performing really, really well, as you can see, with just doing the rear. Because what was happening before, it'd get up on the one wheel, it would diff out, and the steering's cranked, and then it would roll over. Instead of sliding the rear around when we're hauling butt and we want to flip this thing around and come back, it would diff out and then roll over. So now that we're not diffing out, It's sliding. It's exactly what I was looking to do. But I definitely appreciate it, guys. I'll keep you updated on everything else.